Good morning, Enid. It is Thursday, September 22nd, my favorite time of the year because fall is just around the corner. Officially, 9:21 this morning, fall takes place. So we're glad that you're with us on a Throwback Thursday. We're kind of doing the throwback thing at the City of Enid offices, all in support of United Way. And we really hope that your offices are doing things to raise funds for United Way as well. Right now, it's partly cloudy, 66. And the Colonel's in the house, so I'm really excited that we have one special guest that knows all about flying jets. And then we have another special guest that typically you see on TV all the time, but it's in another setting. I'm Steve Keim, and
I'm a Ward 5 Commissioner, Tammy Wilson, and I'm excited to co-host the show this morning. And so, wake up, Enid, it's time to rise and shine.
Good morning, Enid. Thank you for joining us. It's a real privilege each Thursday morning, and the weeks go so quick to be with you. This is show number 88, and I'm really excited about our special guest with Ward 5 Commissioner Tammy Wilson joining me this morning to help with the show. And of course, Colonel Darrell Judy, Commander at Vance, taking time out of his busy schedule to be with us. But thank you for taking time to be with us today on our fall show. As you can see, fall is in the air, kind of, sort of, behind us. We got a few fall-colored leaves behind us, but at 9:21, Tammy, fall begins. Are you a fall person?
I am. Fall is my favorite.
Yeah, I like the colors.
I look forward to it.
I like the cool weather, things like that. Speaking of weather, if we could, let's look at the statewide temps. Just in case you're traveling across the state, Lindsay. Well, my wife was born in Lindsay, Oklahoma. Well, anyway, Cheryl, if you're watching, it's 68 degrees in your hometown this morning. Hooker, 67 in the Panhandle. And if you go all the way over to Tahlequah in the eastern part of the state, it's 62 degrees. And now it's time to look at the three-day forecast. And Commissioner, you can help me with this because we have Fling at the Springs. For someone who's watching, and we just assume everybody knows everything about Fling at the Springs, but what is it? What event is it?
Fling at the Springs is an annual free music festival that has taken place every year since 2001. There was a short break in there, about 3 years. Sylvan Reynolds began the project several years ago as a project to raise money for the springs at Government Springs Park. And over time, it's evolved, and it's an all-day music festival. It's free, and it's open to all ages. And I would hope that everybody would know about it. We've been doing it for so long, and we usually have a really great crowd. But you always hear, there's still people that don't know everything.
Oh, I missed it. I forgot it was this weekend or something.
Yeah, so the Fling at the Springs, it starts on Saturday at 3, and it goes till late in the evening, about 10:30 or so. And we always have fireworks at dark, and we have great music all day from all over the place, and It's a great time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to spend the next 30 minutes talking about Fling at the Springs here, so stay with us this morning. I'd like to remind you, of course, we're streaming live on the internet, so we have former pilot and families that are in Germany, just different parts of Europe that watch us on our live streaming, and we welcome our internet global audience and also welcome you on Channel 12 and in high definition this early morning in 112. But I appreciate you sharing that about what the Fling the Springs is all about, because we need to look at the three-day forecast. And I'm sorry, Penn, I sent you there a while ago, but I wanted Tammy to look at the weather to tell us, okay, besides the event and all the music, well, what's the weather look like?
Well,
kind of looks like a nosedive.
Tomorrow, it's going to look like it's still summer.
Yep.
At 91 at the high, and then Saturday the high is only supposed to be 87, and we're maybe gonna have some thunderstorms. It says 70-80%, but we're hoping for that doesn't really happen. And then on Sunday we're gonna have a high of 71 with another high chance of thunderstorms.
So I think Sunday fall really starts to feel like it's here with 70s and lows in the 50s. I love that cool air in the morning.
jacket weather.
Well, it's 7:35. Real quick, let's look at the school menus. I think kids are out of school on Friday, therefore there's only food today. And Tammy, does that look appealing to you on Thursday?
Yeah, it does. It could be
Pulled
worse.
pork sandwich for everybody. Celery sticks, okay, and wow butter. I love that.
I'm not sure what that is.
I kind of sort of know. Help me out. Jamara, do you know? That's it. That's it. Thank you, AJ.
Okay.
We have all of our PhDs on staff this
wow
morning to
butter.
help us with wow butter. You know, I spent 3 years in the 8th grade, so I'm a little challenged on the wow part. So anyway, banana and milk. So that's that. Okay, we need to do the news right now. We've done the school menu. And in case you want to find out what happened overnight in Oklahoma and also Enid, we have the Oklahoma Minute with the bow tie guy. Here's Derek Silas.
In national news, Nashville became the first in the state of Tennessee to lessen the penalty for small amounts of marijuana Tuesday night in a 35-3 vote. In local news, 2 City of Enid employees received proclamations and recognition Tuesday at the City Council meeting for their bravery, response to the call of duty, and for an unselfish act to help fellow residents. And the Chisholm Trail Expo Center will be host to the Ticcolini Circus tonight and Friday night. Show times are 7 to 9 p.m. In case you missed it, the 2016 Oklahoma State Fair will be in Oklahoma City until Sunday, September 25th at the State Fair Park at 3001 General Pershing Boulevard. And the Tulsa State Fair begins next Thursday, September 29th at 4145 East 21st Street in Tulsa. In sports this Saturday, OSU will play Baylor University in Waco, Texas at 6:30 p.m. and TU will play Fresno State in California at 3:30 p.m. OU is off. The official Thunder games begin Monday, October 3rd, but they will have a blue and white scrimmage at John Marshall Mid High School on Tuesday, September 27th. Fans will have the opportunity to see the 2016-2017 squad in action. And on this day in history, in 1862, President Abraham Lincoln issues a preliminary Emancipation Proclamation, which sets a date for the freedom for more than 3 million black slaves in the United States and recasts the Civil War as a fight against slavery. In 1994, the television sitcom Friends, about 6 young ducks living in New York City, debuts on NBC. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to you, Stephen. Tammy?
Pick a name, any name. When there's food involved, I'll respond to any name or something. Tammy, 1994 was Friends. Didn't 1994, I mean...
It
doesn't seem possible. You find the calendar going quicker, faster?
Much, yes.
Much, okay.
Yes.
Especially when there's kids involved,
Yeah.
calendar really speeds along. Well, real quick, if you have a special event this fall, birthdays, we've had some 100-year young ladies that we've featured on our birthdays. You can send it to GME. Send it to our cows, as you see there on our screen, at gme@enid.org. You know, growing up in Perry, we always had Holstein cows across the street. So anyway, send it to the cows at gme@enid.org. If you have any and pictures from Fling at the Springs. If you have pictures, we'll put them on there. Penn put the graphic up, Tammy, a while ago of all the events and the times and so forth. There it is. Thank you, Penn. Tammy, explain to us about the music. You had the different artists and so forth. Can you kind of explain what is it? It's not all rock and roll. It's not all folk. It's all. Can you kind of explain from what you know?
Well, it's kind of a mishmash of a bunch of different things.
Okay, so something for everyone?
Yeah, I think so, mostly. We don't usually do a lot of metal kind of stuff. It's kind of a more, I would lean it more towards the folky rock and roll type of deal. Sometimes it gets a little country-ish. We used to have a little more bluegrass. It just kind of depends. We kind of mix it up a lot. And we try to have a different mixture of people every year. And sometimes you'll see different people perform throughout the years, but we try not to put them back-to-back years.
And for the performers, is there a local flavor, or is it a outside the state, or is that a mix?
It's kind of a good mix. We try to get people from all over. It tends to mostly be Oklahoma folks because it's easier for them to travel and get here and all of those things. But it's a pretty good mix of people from all over the place. We've got a pretty good Enid group, and we've got people coming from out of town too. So.
Okay, very good. Good morning, Enid. On this Thursday, September 22nd, we're at 7:39, holding steady at 66 degrees. And if you're planning your day, as Tammy said earlier, it's going to be a summer day today and tomorrow with high around 91 degrees today, so keep that in mind. As fall is in full order, if you will, so is Friday Night Lights. And there's our schedule of our games. Putnam City West comes to town at Selby Stadium. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff as they play the Plainsmen. But tonight, if you go halfway down the screen, Crescent at Oklahoma Bible Academy, that is tonight's game. That's not a Friday Night Light, that is tonight's game. So get out and support the Crescent Tigers at OBA. And then my Perry Maroons on the bottom of the screen. Tonkawa comes to Perry on Friday. So we wish all of our high school football activities to be safe, and band performances, keep those in mind as well. Okay, at 7:40, we have a special guest, and we got to keep on moving, Commissioner. Alrighty. And so our special guest is with Jamara, so it's time for One-on-One with Jamara.
Welcome to One-on-One with Jamara. Our special guest this morning is Colonel Darrell Judy, and he is the wing commander for the 71st Flying Training Wing at Vance Air Force Base. Sir, thank you for being with us this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Now, I hear that you actually were here at Vance as a student pilot from 1993-1994.
Yep, that's
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I was here as a student pilot then.
Did you ever imagine that you would return as a wing commander a couple of years later?
Yes, just a couple. Honestly, no, to be honest with you. Going through training, I was just focused on one thing, was completing training and getting my wings. And so to have the thought that I'd ever come back as an instructor and or a wing commander was really not even in my concept of a thought at that point. So it's completely unexpected.
Wow. And now, for the people that may not be too familiar with what your title means, what is your role as a wing commander?
Okay, his role as a wing commander, really, I'm kind of responsible for the wing, responsible for the safety, welfare of all the personnel who work at the wing, responsible for developing our personnel at the wing as our airmen, so they can serve not only in the job they have now, but the job that they're going to eventually have when they potentially leave Vance. And then responsible for accomplishing our mission. Our mission is to train world-class pilots for the United States Air Force and other allied air forces. And so I'm responsible. But really what that means is I have a fantastic team, and I work with a tremendous amount of talent at our wing, both in the leadership and the folks who are, in every office across the wing. We have an unbelievable cadre of folks out there. And really I just kind of give them a couple directions, stay out of their way, make sure they have the resources, and they take the mission and make it happen.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, can you share a few thoughts on your background on the military? Why did you pick the Air Force?
Well, interesting enough, I guess my father was in the Air Force for 8 years, so there was a little bit of influence somewhat from my family. But I really never was pushed into the services to serve from my family. I went to college, and while I was at college, I got a little bit of an interest in aviation from actually flying with a couple of my friends who had private pilot's license.
Oh, wow.
And so I thought I would give this thing called ROTC a tryout, and I enjoyed what I was doing there, and I've kind of stuck with it, and then this is what's happened after time. So very blessed and privileged to be able to serve my country and do something that I love, and so it's been a great experience.
Great, and how wonderful this experience has given you many opportunities and the road back into Vance Air Force Base.
Yes.
Now, for someone that hasn't visited Vance Air Force Base, what can they expect?
Okay, so for folks who are not aware of what we do or haven't been around it, Vance, what they'll see is a very active base. Just from outside the fence line, you'll see lots of activity with our flying operations. And so, we fly over 200 aircraft sorties a day, so they'll see airplanes airborne all the time, so lots of activity. But what they'll also see is, I think, really a sense of tremendous professionalism from Team Vance. It starts with you get to the gate, and it continues all the way throughout the base. So every place that you're going to touch or visit or interact with, the airmen are incredibly professional. They love what they do, and they love serving their country. So I think that sense of pride will show through as they see that. And people are, and all of our airmen and the community are very proud of the base, and I think that pride really resonates just as you even just walk around the base.
Great. And see, that's my next question. Do you think that the relationship between Vance Air Force Base and the city of Enid is special? Is the normal? Or, you know, from your previous bases, what can you tell me?
Yeah, well, I've had the opportunity to be at various locations around the world and in the United States, and I could say that the teamwork between the community and Vance is world class, frankly. It's nice. We are integrated throughout both what we both do, and we understand that the community understands the importance of what we do in support of the Air Force and national security. And then we completely appreciate and understand the tremendous relationship that we have with Enid. So it is one of the best relationships I've ever seen between a community and a base. And so it's fantastic to be part of that and to be part of that community, because we really do feel like we're a part of this community.
Well, that's wonderful to know, and we hope that it keeps happening that way for many years to come.
Us too.
Now, what challenges do you personally face when following a previous wing commander?
Okay, well, in the Air Force, we do a lot of, we transition quite a bit. And so as far as following a previous commander, a lot of it has to do with primarily me as I come into an organization, understanding how the organization runs, because you can come from organizations that have like missions, but they accomplish them slightly different. And so really it's kind of initially me trying to understand how is the organization set up, how does the workflow happen, and those key pieces across the wing that make our mission really function. So, but we have a very standardized structure, so it's not a huge transition. It's probably just a little bit of a small disruption as they try to get me to be at the right place at the right time, and then me to understand where I need to be in the mission and understand what they need, that I can go and advocate for it and get them the resources that they require to do the mission. So it's not a big transition, but it is a little bit, when you have a new person comes in, there's always a little bit of how does this work, but it's really, it works pretty well.
I imagine that teamwork is the key right there.
Exactly right. Great team.
Now, what can you tell a young person, let's say a girl, guy that's considering joining the military? What can you tell them, at this point in your career, and if they're just thinking about it and getting inspired by you, thinking, hey, one day that can be me?
Well, I guess advice I'd offer them is, to prepare themselves. And that would go for any career that they would potentially choose, but to, prepare themselves both academically, so they can go and pursue whatever they want, to give themselves options. And then if they do that, I would highly recommend to look at the armed services. In particular, I'm a little biased towards the Air Force. We're a technology force, and so we love to have folks who are interested in science and technology, because we not only do we fly airplanes, but we're involved in the space, we have cyber, and there's a tremendous amount of opportunities in all those domains that we call them. And so I would encourage them to go take a peek at that, because really there's tremendous advantages to coming into the military, and then you get a lot of sense of satisfaction when you serve. So at the end of the day, I think if they prepare themselves both mentally, physically, and academically, they'll have tremendous options if they choose to come into our armed services.
Great information. Now, if someone wants to know more about Vance Air Force Base, you have a website.
We do.
We have it on the screen, and it's
Great.
vance.af.mil. There's also a phone number, and you can learn more about what's going on at Vance. So please visit the website if you have any additional questions. Now, Colonel Judy, thank you very much for visiting with us today and for sharing your experiences with us.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for watching One-on-One with Jamara. Now let's go back to Steve and Tammy.
I appreciate the Colonel taking time out of his busy schedule to be with us this morning, and you as well. I figured out, Tammy, a while ago when Derek was doing the news, and he said, now back to Steve, and he just paused. I figured it out. He didn't know to call you Commissioner. He didn't know if to call you Miss Wilson, or if it was Tammy. There was that pause. As Ward 5 City Commissioner, what is the biggest challenge you face?
Well,
Outside of no money.
well, there's that. The biggest challenge really is that we all are doing what we do because we love Enid so much. And we all have the best interest of the community at heart. And so all of us on the commission, we're there for that reason and that reason only, really, because like you said, we don't get paid.
Right.
So there's really not anything in it for us other than the satisfaction of doing a good thing for our city. So the biggest challenge is probably just the negativity that we face sometimes. People have a general distrust in government anyway, it seems like in this climate right now. And I think a lot of that lands on us because we're the easiest, because we're so close. I mean, you can catch us in the grocery store or at dinner, or, you know, and so it's. I understand that, and it's easy, and we're right there, and that we embody probably a lot of frustrations for people. So I understand that, but at the same time, that's probably one of the biggest challenges is just getting past that and getting people to kind of trust what we're doing and understand some of the things that we do, and just educating people about what we do is really difficult sometimes.
And one thing that people may not know is all the reading and preparation.
Yes.
You just don't show up for meetings, and there's other meetings as well.
Right.
But I remember Commissioner Rodney Tim was just shaking his head one time saying, I had no idea I had to read this much
Yeah.
to get ready for the meeting.
There's a lot of homework.
A lot of homework.
homework.
So, well, speaking of homework, it's fall today at 9:21, and I understand the reason it's fall, or not the reason it's fall, but the sun is directly over the equator at 9:21 this morning. So there's 12 hours of sunlight, 12 hours of darkness, if you will. But at 9:22, the sun starts moving a little more. That's why we'll have a little bit more darkness, if you will, for our winter time. Where down the southern part of the globe, it becomes summer. So anyway, that's our science for today. 66 degrees. Good morning, Enid. Thank you for joining with us at 7:51. Real quick, what have we not talked about on the fling at the Springs?
Basically, just everybody's allowed to bring a cooler if they want to bring a cooler, as long as it's not glass and it's not stronger than 3.2 beer. We will have beer for sale, and we will have some food trucks there with things for sale. We encourage everybody to bring a blanket to sit on, or lawn chairs, and stake your claim and your spot for the day. And it usually gets a little bit chilly towards dark, so we ask people to bring a jacket. Fireworks usually start around 9. Western Enterprises does that for us every year, so that's kind of exciting to watch the fireworks over the lake. And I think that's really about it. Like I said, it's family friendly, starts at 3. Just plan to come spend the whole day.
Okay. And as the commissioner said, a variety of music, and it's a little bit for everyone, so keep that in mind. Fling at the Springs. And if you're new to the community, it's where the cows are.
Right. Government Springs Park.
Government Springs Park. It's where the cows are, where the what is it, Longhorns or just cows? But it's a Chisholm Trail anyway.
Cattle Drive.
Yep, Cattle Drive. Okay, it's 7:52, and let's, in case you missed the news earlier this morning here on Good Morning Enid, let's do the Oklahoma Minute with Derek Silas, the bow tie guy.
In case you missed it, the 2016 Oklahoma State Fair will be in Oklahoma City until Sunday, September 25th at the State Fair Park at 3001 General Pershing Boulevard. And the Tulsa State Fair begins next Thursday, September 29th at 4145 East 21st Street in Tulsa. 2 City of Enid employees received proclamations and recognition Tuesday at the City Council meeting for their bravery, response to the call of duty, and for an unselfish act to help fellow residents. In sports this Saturday, OSU will play Baylor University in Waco, Texas at 6:30 p.m. TU will play Fresno State in California at 3:30 p.m. The official Thunder games begin Monday, October 3rd, but they will have a blue and white scrimmage at John Marshall Mid-High School on Tuesday, September 27th. This day in history, in 1862, President Abraham Lincoln issues a preliminary emancipation proclamation. And in 1994, the television sitcom Friends, about 6 young adults living in New York City, debuts on NBC. And that's the Oklahoma Minute. Back to you, Steve and Tammy.
Oh, wow, it caught me there drinking. Okay, it's 7:54 and a few more minutes. It's the quickest 30 minutes of the day for us. The weather for the 3-day forecast, Tammy, for the event looks kind of warm at the start, but Sundays looks more like fall.
Yes, definitely. Summer tomorrow, and then fall and nicer weather on Saturday and Sunday, with a high of 87 on Saturday and a high of 71 on Sunday, with some, looks like maybe some thunderstorms. No whammies. We're hoping for no whammies.
That's true. We need the water. We need the water.
We do.
Again, 7:54. Thank you for joining us this morning. And I had the privilege of interviewing Senator James Inhofe, and that interview is coming up at 8 o'clock this morning here on Channel 12 and 112, and also on enidtv.org as we're live streaming the shows today. Well, we'll be back with our pet of the week right after this.
We are located at 1200 South 10th here in Enid, Oklahoma, and our phone number is 580-249-4910.
Okay, that's the number, Commissioner, 249-4910, and we really appreciate the folks of helping out with dogs and cats and different animals, and I just hate to see them in cages and things of this nature, so.
Definitely.
Well, we've had Colonel Judy, Commissioner Tammy Wilson as special guests. We have enough of those special guests. We can take a shot of, what's our pet?
Today we have Badger.
Badger.
He's a 4-month-old pit lab mix, and he needs to be fixed and have his rabies shots, but he looks very sweet and very loving, and like your family needs to have him.
Look at that. Well, we also have another special guest. We have Robin Shepard. Hi, Robin. Thank you for being here. This is Robin's first time with us today, and you brought a cutie. Badger, look at those ears. And with all the bright lights and the noise that's in the studio, he's pretty mild-mannered. So I imagine he'd be great at home if you got a couple of rambunctious kids, because if he can handle all this distraction of all the lights and everything, look at those eyes.
He's a cutie.
But anyway, Robin is new to the city of Enid, and as in that department at Animal Control, so you want to give her a call at 249-4910 and take Badger home. And Robin, I'm sure you have other dogs and cats as well. Any cats out there?
We do. We've got a couple cats right
Okay,
now.
a couple cats, because oftentimes, Commissioner, they only have dogs that we've learned. So anyway, you see Badger. Badger, look this way.
He's sweet.
Well, Robin, we appreciate you being here. And again, 249-4910, the number that you see on the screen. And Badger is our dog to adopt. And you can see Badger today if you'd like to. Well, Commissioner, we have a few minutes to talk again, just really summarize about Fling at the Spring. Really have just a little over a minute. Anything that we really haven't discussed, and I've kind of asked you that earlier, but you've talked about the music, you talked about the hours and chance of rain and stuff. Speaking of rain, what if it starts to pour in the middle of something? What's the rules, if you will?
Well, we usually try to make that call early in the day, at least, because we have so much sound equipment and musical gear and all of those things that can't get wet.
Yep.
So you guys know what that's like. So we try to make that call fairly early, but sometimes we wake up Saturday and it's kind of yucky. It ends up great. Like last year, we woke up, had a sketchy morning, ended up being a really great day. So we try to watch it really closely. We had a meeting about it last night, in fact. Said, okay, what are we going to do? Came up with our game plan. Usually the backup plan, just like it is this year, the backup plan is it moves to the Q spot. Okay. Which is downtown and not super far from there. It's just over there on Cherokee, and it's the big green building that says the Q spot on it. And we just move it indoors. Okay. And they are very kind to us to let us do that there. So.
And that's this weekend, Fling at the Springs. Commissioner, we got to go. We only have 10 seconds. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate the co-host and all the information.
Sure.
And we appreciate you joining us today. 249-4910 is the number to call if you want to take Badger home today. Good morning, Enid. Have a great Thursday.